Hey everyone, it's Jasmine from Blogging Money Life and Miss Millennium Magazine. How's it going? This is our December blogging Q&A for the month, and I am here to answer any and all of your blogging questions. So if you have any questions related to blogging whatsoever, be sure to post your questions in the comment section, and I'll get those answered during this call today. So I always like to start these calls off with a brief introduction because I know we always have new people coming into these calls. And I want to make sure that you know who I am, you know a little bit about my background, and how I can possibly help you when it comes to blogging. So, a little bit about me. Again, my name is Jasmine. Hi. I've been blogging for 10 years. My first blog was my blog, Miss Millennium Magazine, and I've had it since 2010. Um, and I still love it. I still love blogging. I love talking about blogging, and I love helping other bloggers with their blogs as well. So, um, a little bit about my most recent blog, Blogging Money Life. It's one that I just started in August with my husband, Chris. And while we've only run it for a few months, we are already bringing in income with it. It's still slow going. Definitely check out our blog income report to learn more about how that's performing. But it just proves that you can definitely create a brand new blog in 2021 and still bring in income with it. So I see that we have more and more people jumping in. I love to see who everyone is. If you're here, leave a comment and tell me who you are and where you're from. And so we have our first person who just jumped in. And Grizel says, "Hi, I'm your fan from the Philippines." Hey, Grizel, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you being here. And this is how the questions are going to show up. So if you guys have any questions about blogging, definitely post them in the comments and I'll show them just like I just showed it here. Um, the Ordinary Snob says, "Hi there. Hey there. Thanks for joining. I love it when I see our regulars coming by. I'm glad you're here, Susan." And she is from Cleveland. Awesome. Welcome back. I am so happy that you're here. So I'm glad you guys are here. Definitely continue as you come into the call. Go ahead and post who you are and where you're from, where you're viewing from, so that I can know a little bit more about you guys. I just gave you guys a brief overview of myself. My name is Jasmine. For those of you who are just jumping on, I've been blogging for 10 years. I love talking about blogging. I have two blogs currently, one that I manage called Miss Millennium Magazine for millennial women who are working to become their best selves. And then I have another called Blogging Money Life that I run with my husband, Chris. And that one is about blogging in general, how to start a blog, how to make money with blogging, and everything else under the sun when it comes to building a blog and creating a lifestyle that you want around your blog. So I'll tell you guys how I typically do this. I'll take your questions that you post in the comments there, and I'll answer them as they come up. But one thing that I really like about these calls is I always have a topic that I like to talk about, something that maybe have going on with me, and share some of my tips that I have regarding that topic. I know it's a different theme every month, and this month, being that it's December, we are in the middle of the holiday season. Everyone is busier than normal, including myself. And I find that this is a time where a lot of bloggers start dropping the ball, myself included. Um, November was not the best month for me and Chris when it comes to blogging money life, as far as being productive, making sure that we're staying consistent with our schedules. And a lot of that has to do with, we've had a lot of recent life changes from moving from the United States to Costa Rica. We just moved into another house around that same time. And overall, just still getting adjusted with a big culture shock. But Thanksgiving was smack dab in the middle of all of those things happening. And now that we are getting close to Christmas time, I'm sure a lot of people are wrapping things up for the end of the year for their day jobs. You're probably thinking about your plans for New Year's and what your plans are going to be for Christmas. And it's a really easy time to kind of drop the ball with your blog. And what I want to talk about today is how do you get to a point where you're motivated, right? So you have a lot of stuff going on, right? You may be feeling not as motivated with your blog during this time, especially if you feel like you've been putting in all this effort and work and you're not seeing the benefits of it. What do you do to stay motivated or get motivated if you are feeling not so motivated anymore when it comes to blogging? And I want to talk about some of my tips today on what I like to do, what I have done, and I still do to this day to keep me going and make me really motivated to continue to work on my blog, to grow it, and eventually make money from it. So that is going to be my topic today. I have, let me see, 5 tips for y'all on ways to stay motivated when it comes to blogging, and I'm going to go over all of them. So before I get into that, I think we have a first question from Susan. She says, I've had one paid sponsorship and felt really great about it. Yay! Congratulations, that's amazing. I've applied to others, but it seems like people want you to sell things on your site. I have nothing to sell. What do you suggest? Okay. So you said sell things on your site. If you can be more specific about that, are you saying that people want you to sell their products on your site, or are you saying they want you to sell, I guess, a part of your site or like an email list? I would love to know more about what you're thinking there. I think that's great that you got your first sponsored post opportunity. That for me was my big aha when it came to blogging. And I realized I want to keep doing this. I can get free stuff. I can get paid to use the free stuff and blog about it. I love writing. What more could someone ask for, right? But what I have found when it comes to different opportunities, you want to make sure that you're careful about what you apply for. So let's say, for example, you have a lifestyle blogs. Oh, okay. So, ordinary snob, clarify, like sell items like my own stuff. Okay, like your own products. Okay, that's interesting that you have brands that are asking you to sell your own products on your site. Um, I will say that when it comes to bringing in like substantial income on your blog, having your own products is a really good income stream to have. You don't have to have it on day one or even the first year or whatever. Whenever you feel comfortable and lightning strikes and you feel like you know exactly what that perfect product is that you can sell, that's when you sell the product. Um, but when it comes to getting more sponsored post opportunities, um, yeah, I find that you have assets on your blog. Like your blog itself is more like a vehicle when it comes to marketing. So when you have a sponsorship or a brand who sees your blog and they're interested in working with you, they're looking at what assets you have. Now, what are assets? I'm thinking your email list. That's an asset. They want access to the number of people on your email list. Your Instagram account. Do you have more than 10,000 followers? They want access to those 10,000 followers so that they can reach out to them through an Instagram post. Same thing with all your other social media channels. Your talent to write, that's a service. So being able to write a blog post about that brand is something else that you can offer. So there's so many different assets in your business when it comes to sponsored posts, and it's good to keep those in mind. I have a lot of brands who will email me, they reach out and they say, hey, I'm interested in doing something with you. I was thinking maybe a Twitter post. And a lot of times they'll say like something like that because it's the lowest price option or whatever. But the reality is they don't have a marketing plan, they don't have a strategy, and they sometimes need guidance. So, I'll quote them for the Twitter post just so they can have that option. But I'll also say, did you know that I have an email list? Here's my price for that. I would really love to do a full-blown campaign with you as opposed to just a single post. And here's the benefit of doing all of those things, because a Twitter post only lasts for so many minutes, whereas a Instagram post, lasts for more hours. And I think working with both of those things at the same time can get more traffic to your brand. So that's it. That is a good way to kind of sell your blog a little bit more. In regard to the product portion of this, like saying you have nothing to sell, like there's so many things that you can that you have the possibility to sell. I think everybody defaults to courses. But I really feel like there are so many problems that need solving. The answer to that is solve a problem, right? And then document the answer to that problem and figure out what vehicle you want to use to sell it to people. So I know, for example, like I've solved many problems on my blog that I didn't even realize was a problem. Like I got tired of posting on social media every day. So I developed a process on how to post. And then I eventually gave that process to a virtual assistant to do it. Well, something I didn't think about is other bloggers are probably interested in that same process. So that's something that I can possibly sell. Here is the process you need that you can give to a virtual assistant and they can manage your social media for you. So that's just something to think about when it comes to coming up with a product. Don't feel like pressured to create one, especially if you're still getting started and you're trying to build up your income when it comes to your blog. In other ways, let it come to you instead. I've had so many ideas for products. One of my ones I have right now is my Blogging Money Update newsletter. And for that, I send a newsletter to bloggers 3 times a week with different sponsor post opportunities. And that's one thing that I figured out on my own. I passed it off to a virtual assistant to do for me. And then I realized, like, oh, this is something other bloggers may be interested in. And sure enough, they were. There's bloggers who pay me every month for that service. So if you're trying to think about what product you should be selling, what I would do is sit down and try to think about problems that you've already solved within your business or when it comes to the niche that you're in. Let's say that you're a finance blogger, for example, and you figured out the perfect budget for people who are just tired of all the different apps and tools and something that you can touch and you use it for yourself. That may be a good product too. So just keep an open mind when it comes to um, what that product could be. And in regard to vehicle, it can be a course, it can be an ebook, it can be a workshop, it can be a webinar. Heck, it can be a tech tool that you put together and you work with a developer to create. It can be anything. Don't limit yourself to what everyone else is doing. If you find an app, like a vehicle that you think will be best for whatever you're trying to sell, then more than likely it's probably the right one. So hopefully that helped with that question. Let me know if you have more. All right, we got Chris here. Hello from downstairs. Chris is my husband, you guys. He's the one I was telling you guys about who works on Blogging Money Life with me. He's newer to blogging, but he's been doing a really good job of managing our newer blog, Blogging Money Life. Hi, babe. All right, it looks like we have another question. So let's see. This question comes from Lisa. If I have a domain authority of 23, how much should I charge blogging companies to publish their posts on my site with a live link to their client's site? Whew, I don't know. I don't know. So there's a couple of things about this strategy, Lisa. Technically, selling a link to your blog is not something that Google really likes people to do. So that's something you want to be wary of. It can negatively affect your blog, your website, if you decide to go that route. But if you are going to go this route, as far as like charging to publish a post on your blog with a live link to their site, you want to make sure that you are notating it as a sponsored post. Like, this is something that is sponsored. I'm working with this person and they're paying me to do it. Right. So I think that may protect you a little bit more when it comes to Google. And make sure that you are paying attention to as well for what type of content they're creating on your blog. Of course, like for anyone who does guest blogs or lets guest posters on your site, it's really good to have like a style guide and things like that, so they know how to write to your voice and your tone and your audience. So that's something else to keep in mind. As far as how much to charge, I don't know. I don't know how much you should be charging for something like that. I know that for Blogging Money Formula, I offer a product called my Sponsor Post Pricing Toolkit. And on this toolkit, what I allow you to do is put in your different stats for your blog, including your domain authority, how many page views you get every single month, as well as your social media followers and things like that. And I give you a price on how much you should charge for a sponsored post. And this is more so for one that you write, but I guess you can use it for the same thing as well, for an email and for various social media posts on your blog. So if that's something you're interested in, I can definitely provide the link to that if I can find it. Sponsored post pricing toolkit. So I guess what I will say is focus on, I guess, using a tool to figure out the price based on all those details, and then you should have a price from there. But good question. Okay, we have a couple more questions. Ordinary Snob says, how do I get my domain authority up? I have over 100 posts on my site. I added a lifestyle section. I have an authority of 1. How sad, womp womp. Aw. Okay, so I know this is something that I dedicated a full year to my blog on increasing my domain authority. And this is how I did it. When it comes to your domain authority, it pretty much says like, hey, I got this many reviews on Google. That's pretty much what it is your reputation score. And what you want to do is get some reviews from other people about the authority of your site. Now, how do you do that? You need to have links to your site on other websites that have a higher domain authority than you. Now, you want to make sure that they're in the same country as you, because that's going to help. Because a lot of times these domain authority scores vary by what country you're in. So look at US based, if you're in the United States, US based companies, blogs and websites that have a higher domain authority than you. How do you know if they have a higher domain authority than you? You can use a tool called the Moz SEO toolbar. It's free. I think you have to create a free account on Moz, but you can look at other people's sites and then offer to do a guest post there. So I did that for, like I said, a full year, reaching out to other bloggers who had a higher domain authority than me and asked to write guest posts on their sites. Something else that I did that was really fruitful is when I found another website that had a way, way higher domain authority than me, I got on their good side and made like a regular guest post situation. We pretty much worked together and I said, hey, I'll get you one new article per month. And that just sped things up so much faster because now I'm consistently putting my link out there on other people's blogs. If you have other blogging friends, that's a good place to start. Ask them if it's okay to put a link on their blogs if they have a higher domain authority than you. You can also go into different blogging groups and ask this question as well. But like I said, I spent a year just focusing on that. Nothing too crazy. I mostly wrote like one guest post a month. And a lot of times some bloggers will do like an exchange with you, like, hey, I guest post on your site, you guest post on mine. And that's a really easy way to boost up your domain authority. Another thing that I did is I added my blog to different, what do you call those things? Blog forum sites, like list sites. So I'm a lifestyle blog and I talk about things like finance and life. It's just very general. So there was one I put myself on. There was I think it was called like Rockstar Finance, like their list of top bloggers. I added my blog to that list, and that was another easy way for me to boost my domain authority. I did that on a number of different lists. I'm trying to think. I had a list of different channels like that, like their forum sites or list sites that really boost up your domain authority. And it made a big difference. I don't know if it's as impactful now to do many of those things since Google's algorithm has changed so much. But do a Google search for blog lists and see if they have a submit form on those pages if you can submit your blog. And that's another way to build up your domain authority. So I hope that was helpful. It definitely helped me when I did those things. So I hope that made a difference. Oh, you said, I also link to other sites to show people where to purchase items and link back to my own articles, and yet nothing. Oh, wow. Okay, so you are going to other blogs. So yeah, I would say just make sure that you're paying attention to their domain authorities, and also if they have a negative score with Google. One tool that I like to use is the Alexa score. It's like it's like Alexa Rank. It's a Google Chrome extension you can put on your site. It's free to use. and you can look at if that site has improved as far as their domain authority or if it's declined. And sometimes they may have a higher page authority than you, but if they're going down because of something that they've done or they haven't followed all the rules, they're probably going to take you down with them. So it's good to kind of monitor those things to make sure that you're not hitched to a sinking ship. If a better way to put that. So that's one way to try it. And then also, like I said, try some websites where you can put like different blog lists. One that I'm on every single year is here. I'll top millennial bloggers. So give me 1 second. This is one you have to like create an account or whatever, but I think it's worth it because they put me on this list like every year, and it's FeedSpot. FeedSpot is what it's called. Here, I'll give you the link. This is they're a millennial blog list, and they do multiple of them. Like they have a millennial blog list, they have a personal blog, finance blog. And you have to sign up for it to like submit your blog to their list. But I'm looking at their domain authority, and let me see here. Their Alexa rank is 3,557. But where is it? I don't have my Moz bar on, so I can't tell you what their page authority is, but it's high. It's high. They've been around for a long time. So that may be one to like sign up for. And I know it definitely makes a difference because they have a good reputation. So I hope that one helps as well. Oh, awesome. Yay. So Lisa, she asked a question earlier about how to price her sponsored posts. And I told her about my calculator that I have. And I'll make sure to share that with you, Lisa, in the links here. I try to search for it and I don't. I unfortunately don't have it offhand, but I'll make sure to add that after the call here so that you can get that. Oh, actually, maybe I do have it. I may have it. I do have it. All right, here you go. I'll add that here. Perfect. No problem. I hope that answer was suitable for you, and I hope it makes a big difference too. It makes me want to go back through my list of websites that I had where I was adding my blog to a bunch of blog lists, but it made a big difference for sure once I did it. Okay, so you guys, those of you who are still jumping in, if you still have more questions, post them in the comments here. I want to get to my topic that I told you guys about earlier, and that is, what do you do when you're not feeling motivated with blogging? How do you get back on the wagon and just start feeling motivated again to blog? So I'll tell you some of the things I've done in the past where I'm really like ready to throw in the towel. Like, I'm over this. Blogging sucks today. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So the first thing that I do is I look at blog income reports. I don't know if you've ever looked at any of these before, but if you are like, man, I'm so tired of counting pennies. My blog isn't making any money. I feel like I'm working all the time on it. When is this going to end? I just like going to blog income reports because when it starts to feel like, man, there's no way I can make money with my blog, I look at those reports. I'm like, if this person can do it, and this person can do it, and this person, and this person, and this person, why can't I do it? Right. And before you start thinking like, well, how is this not going to send me down a downward spiral even more, looking at other people's income and stuff? Well, what I like about a lot of these blog income reports is they break it down by how are they bringing in this amount of money each month. I know that for Blogging Money Life, that's something that we do. We have a blog income report series. I'll share it with you guys. We just started our blog in August, so it's still pretty slow going as far as us getting up there, but we've been profitable since, the first month of us blogging. We've been bringing in income with it, and a lot of that has just been focusing on different strategies that we know work, like affiliate marketing, selling products, and also just focusing on SEO and a number of other things. So yeah, I would say put a nice list of blog income reports together, look at what everyone's doing, but not just look at the number, look at the breakdown. Where is most of their income coming from? Is it coming from affiliates? Is it coming from sponsored posts? And from there, do your research. Pick a monetization strategy and go with it. Research it. learn different ways that you can make that income on your blog. But just pick one. Don't get too carried away and try to do all of it, because I've done that too. And it is not a good look. It is just a good way to not get anything done. Okay, so that's my first thing for getting motivated. If you look at the blog income reports and you're still like, this isn't doing it for me, I'm still wondering about, if anything I do on my blog has made a difference, if I should continue to do this. Another thing I like to do is look at my stats. And not just look at your stats, like where are our numbers today, like our page views and our social media followers and all that stuff, because I feel like it's easy to look at your numbers and say, well, why am I not at 1 million followers yet when this person's at 1 million? Even though that person's probably been blogging for like 25 years or or whatever. It's easy to think that. But what I like to do is I pull in my Google Analytics and I look at the very first day that I started my blog and I compare it to today. And even though you may not be where you want to be with your blog, it is so fulfilling to see how much progress that you've made in the time that you have been blogging. So that always proves to be pretty motivating for me, looking at how far I've come. Look at, your first blog post. That's another thing that's always, it's kind of embarrassing, honestly. Like, go into your first blog post that you wrote and then look at the blog post you published last week. You're going to see a huge difference there too, because you're growing, and you're putting in all this work and you have something to show for it. You can physically look at your blog and your stats and see, wow, I had 0 followers on the first day and now I have 1,000. And that's worth celebrating. 1,000 followers, like that's 1,000 people who are following you. That's a big deal. And I think when you're looking at all things on the internet, it's easy to minimize how many people that is. Like, for example, I can see right now that I have 5 people who are watching me right now live, which doesn't seem like a whole lot. But if I have 5 people in this room with me, I'd be pretty cramped, right? If you guys were physically here with me. So just kind of keep those things in perspective, right? It may not seem like a big number in comparison to this person or that person, but look at yourself. Look at how much you've progressed and how much you've grown in that time. And that always proves to be a really good motivator for me. Okay, so my next tip on how to stay motivated. And, really quick before I get into that, you guys, if you have questions for me regarding anything blogging, it doesn't have to be about, not feeling motivated or what to do when you don't know how to do, with your blog. What I'm talking about here, this is just for me to give you guys some tips because I just really want to talk about this. But if you have more blogging questions, definitely post them in the comments and I'll make sure to get an answer to you. So I'll talk to you about my third tip, the thing that I like to do when I'm not feeling motivated when it comes to blogging, and that is brainstorming ideas. So I think like something about blogging that like drives me crazy is there's so much monotony to it. There's so much like, oh, I have to post on social. Now I got to write this blog post. Now I got to do this newsletter. And it's so easy to get into that rhythm and feel bored or feel like, oh, when is, something exciting going to happen? Especially for bloggers, like we're that type of person. We like to be on the cutting edge and see, ooh, what's this new thing shiny over here? Let me go for that thing. So what I like to do when I'm not feeling motivated is brainstorm. I brainstorm ideas. And for me, this is something that really motivates me to like, yeah, I need to make sure I'm staying consistent so that I can get to this really fun, big project here, whether that be exploring a new social media platform, or maybe there's a new kind, like series of videos that I want to record. Or sometimes it's a product idea I come up with. Like I just realized I had this problem. I've solved it years ago. And now I want to make that problem, answer that problem for a lot of other people. So brainstorm, just take a piece of paper, sit down and answer this question. Where do you see the future of your blog? And just start writing, just start writing some stuff down and see what comes of it, right? And go from there. I am a big whiteboard fan. I don't have my whiteboards up in my new office yet, but in my last office, I had 3 whiteboards in my one room because I love getting on there and just writing things down and thinking about this big idea or this goal so I can look at it every day. So brainstorming is definitely a good motivator for me. You don't have to act on any of those things, right here and now, but it's a good way to let you know that, hey, there are other things coming. There's more than just the day-to-day grind when it comes to your blog. Big things are on the horizon. You just got to work towards it. So that's my third tip for staying motivated when you are not feeling so motivated with your blog. All right, before I get to tip number 4, I see we just got another question from Benisa. So I'm going to answer that for her. So can you go a little into SEO? How can it be a more simply explained, because I'm so lost? Oh, Benisa, like, I know how you feel, right? Like, I remember I knew what SEO was, like the term, for a couple of years before I actually did anything with SEO. And a lot of that is because I just felt so overwhelmed. Like, I didn't even know, what is SEO? Right? What does that even mean? Right? So I'll explain it to you. SEO is search engine optimization. And pretty much all this means is when you're on a search engine, what do you do to make them favor you more than other people so that they drive traffic to your blog organically, meaning without you having to pay for it? And it wasn't until not last year, but the year before that I really dove in deep here. I signed up for a few SEO courses. I was getting all the SEO tools. I think one of the big things that kept me from really investing in SEO is because I knew it cost money. There are no free SEO tools except for Yoast SEO. And if you're going to go down that route, as far as investing in it and understanding it in it and having the right tools to be able to make it work, you got to spend some money. So that's what I did. I did my research, and I have to say that I have not looked back ever since. It is the best thing that has ever happened to my blog, hands down. And I'll tell you what I did, Benisa. It's pretty much figuring out what people are searching for. And I'm going to speak generally on Google, but the reality is Google is not the only search engine we use. We use Pinterest, we use YouTube, and then another of other, the ones that no one really uses. But search engines is just thinking about what are people searching for on these platforms, so that you can get them to your site. So let's say, for example, you know that you have a problem. Let's get back to my whole problem theory and solving people's problems and making products. So you have a problem. You go to Google and you try to find a solution to that problem. What keywords did you put in there to solve that problem on Google? What came up when you put in those keywords? So I'll tell you an example. If I'm getting ready to buy a new television, I'm going to search for what are the best TVs in 2021. All right, I'm early on my journey, right? But I finally go through all these sites. I'm looking on Amazon. I'm looking on all these shopping websites. And then I finally figure out, okay, I want either this TV or this TV. Which one am I going to go with? Well, conveniently, there's a blog called This TV versus This TV. Which one is better? I'm going to click on that blog post and I'm going to read it and let them convince me, because at this point I'm tired. I've done a ton of research on these televisions already, and I just need someone to tell me what the right answer is. So the person who created that blog post did their keyword research, because they know that there are a certain number of people who are searching for this specific key term. And they know that they're going to be just like me, fatigued from all the searching that I've been doing and researching to buy this television. And this is probably going to be the last stop before they make a purchase. So what do? They put an affiliate link for both of those TVs in that blog post. So it doesn't matter which answer I choose as far as which one I go with to buy. This person wins anyway, because I'm going to choose one of them and click buy. And that is what SEO is. It is pretty much taking a deeper dive into people's experiences when they're searching for things, or I like to say solving a problem online, and making sure you're incorporating that in the content that you create, whether that be writing a blog post about it, or creating a video, or even creating the best caption for your Pinterest post. I hope that explained it a little bit better. I like to try to explain things like that without using all the jargon with keywords and all the different tools to use, because that's all it is at the end of the day. how do you know what keywords people are searching for? Well, that's where, the tools come into play. I will say that one of my favorite tools that I still use to this day is one of the most inexpensive ones that you can invest in, and it's called Keywords Everywhere. And what it is it's a Google Chrome plugin that you put into your browser. And anytime you're searching on Google, it gives you a number of as far as how many people are searching for that specific keyword that you're researching. And then it also gives you a competitive score. So if the score is really high for competition, then you don't have to worry about going for that one. But if it happens to be a keyword that gets a lot of volume and low competition, that is probably something you want to write a blog post about. Keywords Everywhere, they charge by credit. So every time you do a search, that costs a credit. But I think you can get like 10,000 credits, or yeah, 10,000 credits for like $10. I spent $10 on Keywords Everywhere credits, and it took me a year to get through all of my credits. So I think if you want to do more keyword research and get more organic traffic to your blog, I think that's a worthwhile tool to invest in. Let me see if I can grab a link for you really quick. Keywords Everywhere. I hope that answers your question. And if not, please give me a follow-up question so I can go into more detail for you. And I am going to give you the link to Keywords Everywhere. All right, good question, Benisa. All right, you guys keep posting your questions in the comments because I'm loving them. I think you have like really well thought out questions, and I can tell y'all are definitely motivated despite the holidays. So, give yourselves a pat on the back for that because that's awesome, especially because of the fact that you're here. You are here and you are talking about blogging with me instead of, watching television or doing something, something else. So I appreciate it. And you should appreciate yourself for showing up. Okay, so for those of you who may have just joined us, I've been talking about things that I like to do when I'm not feeling motivated on my blog to get me motivated to keep blogging. I have 5 things that I want to go over with you guys. So far, I already talked about looking over blog income reports because those are super motivating. And also, it can give you some clues into what people are doing to bring in income so you can do more of that yourself. The second thing I said is look at your data. Start from when you first started blogging all the way up to today, and just look at how much progress you made and sit back and feel proud of that because, you're only competing with yourself, no one else. So that's another thing to keep you motivated to see how far you've come. The other thing that I like to do is brainstorm ideas. Ask yourself the question, what is in the future for my blog? And from there, just start writing out ideas as far as where you see the future of your blog going, and come up with some really fun things that you can see happening. And when you're getting through all the monotonous stuff, as far as like having to write a blog post every week, having to do a newsletter every week, you can still look at that thing, those brainstorming ideas, and say, yeah, I'm going to get to that as soon as I get to a certain point with these things. So those are my 3 things I've talked about so far. I have 2 more tips for you guys, but if you have any more questions, definitely post them in the comments and I'll make sure to get an answer for y'all. Okay, my 4th tip is reaching out to other bloggers. So being a blogger, I think one of the downsides to this is it can be very isolating, especially if you don't have any close friends who are also bloggers. I remember talking to people and telling them about my blog, and they're like, don't you have a full-time job? I'm like, yeah, but I love blogging and I make money with my blog and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, that's going to be a no for me. I could never do that. I don't understand why you do it. It can just be very discouraging when you don't have a crowd of people around you who get it, right? So if you have some blogging buddies that you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm feeling pretty not motivated today. They can offer you some encouraging words to say, hey, don't worry, I feel like that last week, but this week I'm on it. Here are the things that I'm working on. Maybe you should try this. And they may even have some tips for you to make it so that you're more motivated with your blog. I also like to just go to different blogging Facebook groups and networks just to see what people are talking about and doing. I love it when I see bloggers post like, hey, I'm so excited. I finally reached this many followers on my Instagram account, and everybody's just celebrating them. And it just motivates me like, yeah, I can't wait till I get to that point too. So yeah, just make sure that you are in some spaces that have other bloggers so that you can lean on them when you need them, especially when you're not feeling very encouraged or discouraged in general when it comes to working on your blog. So that would be my fourth tip, as far as uh, staying motivated when you're not feeling very motivated with blogging. All right. Oh, I see Benisa added another comment. She said, "Thank you. That was helpful. Now, do you have any SEO courses you recommend that don't cost an arm and a leg?" Oh, yeah. I wish I did. I wish I had a course that did not cost an arm and a leg, but I'm going to tell you, like, no, no, I think they're all freaking expensive. My favorite, I'll tell you my favorite SEO course, the one that I often go back to it, um, because it's just filled with helpful information, is Stupid Simple SEO. That one is a really, really good course. And I can't remember how much it is, but I know he only sells it once a year. But that's probably been the best one when it comes to like SEO for blogging. I've done another SEO course. It's called Pinterest. It's actually like a Pinterest course, but it's really Pinterest SEO, and it's by Anastasia Blogger. I can't remember what exactly it's called. Hers is a little bit more affordable, but it's only geared towards Pinterest as opposed to Google. So that's a good one to look into as well. So yeah, I think they all cost, and that's unfortunate, which I think it just adds another barrier to this. Like, you got to pay for the tools, you got to pay for the courses, but there are so many other bloggers who would not do it. They won't pay for those things, and it just gives you that competitive advantage. So just keep that in mind, Benisa, when it comes to investing in one of your arms into one of these courses. um, Oh, the Ordinary Snob said they do payment plans, and she signed up for that. So that's good to know. And I know many of these places, they'll do payment plans. But yeah, Stupid Simple SEO, it is very good. It's very detailed. And I think he recently just updated it for Google. So that's a good one I would invest in for sure. But really good question. Okay. I'm moving on to my final number 5 thing to do when you are not feeling up to blogging. And this one is a little bit more of a challenge for you guys, because I gave you a lot of fluffy things on like how to be happy and be motivated so that you can feel encouraged and work on your blog. But my last one is more of a critical thinking thing to do when it comes to your blogging stuff. If you're not feeling motivated, what I would do is figure out why you're stuck, right? What exactly is it that is keeping you from wanting to work on your blog today? Now, I'm in a blog mastermind group, and this is one thing that we often do. Like, if someone did not hit their goal and they have consistently not hit their goal, we just go back and say, okay, what is it? What's the problem? Why do you not want to work on this? Because if you consistently not worked on this thing, there is something else going on. And you'd be surprised at how many people have to think about this and like, oh, well, I guess it's because I don't like doing this thing. I don't like having to post on social media. So because I know that's next on my list, I just don't do anything. And then you get to the heart of the problems. Like, okay, that's something we can work with. Maybe it's investing in a tool that posts on social media for you. Maybe it is taking the income that you are making from your blog and putting it towards a virtual assistant to do social media. Because at the end of the day, I don't think anyone quits blogging because they don't like blogging. Like, they wouldn't have gone through the trouble of signing up for a hosting provider, finding out their domain, creating your branding strategy, writing all this content if they didn't really want to blog. What happens is there's usually something annoying that they just don't like in their blogging business, and that takes them out of the game altogether. So I would encourage you to sit down and really think about what is holding you back. Why don't you want to do this? Is it a specific part of it? Is it the topic that you're writing about that's not motivating? Is it, you're so tired of the same problem, or you're having tech issues? Whatever it is, sit down and write those things out. What are the things you don't like about blogging? Just because you're a blogger doesn't mean you have to love every element of it. I can tell you hands down, there are so many things I don't like. I don't like having to deal with tech. I don't like having to answer my emails because I get so many of them. There's so many things I don't like about blogging, and that's okay because I still love blogging. I still love creating content and sending out newsletters and encouraging other people to do things with their blog. But there's some stuff I just don't want to do, and if that's motivating you enough to not want to blog, it may be worthwhile investing in some alternatives so you don't have to work on that thing. So that would be my fifth tip. Figure out why you're stuck. Write out those things. What don't you like? And that's fine, if you can do some things that you don't really like, but things that you just detest doing, those are the things you want to get off your plate so it does not take you out of the blogging game altogether. So I hope that's helpful when it comes to things that you can do to be motivated when it comes to blogging. So I don't see any other questions, but if you guys have any other ones to add, go ahead and add them now. I'm going to do a quick recap on my 5 tips on how to stay motivated with your blog while you guys do that. So tip number 1, look at blog income reports. Those are great motivators, and you can see bloggers who are actually making money and how they're making money. So that's the first thing you can do when you're not feeling motivated. I put the link to our blogging income report series in the comments as well, so definitely check that out. The second thing you can do is look at your data, right? It's easy to look at your site, how much traffic you're getting right now, and compare it to someone who's getting way more. But if you look at your traffic now compared to the first day when you first started blogging, you have come a long way. So give yourself a pat on the back and let that be a motivator for you. And not just with traffic, with your social media following, with how many blog posts that you've written compared to when you first started, how many YouTube videos or anything like that. Just look at where you were on day 1 compared to where you are now, okay? The third thing you can do, brainstorm ideas. If you are feeling like, oh, I'm tired of this grinding when it comes to writing a blog post and sending a newsletter, making a video, take some time to brainstorm ideas on what is on the horizon for your blog. Like, where do you see this going? What are the big ideas that you have? Write those down, put them up somewhere, and when you're not feeling motivated, get a look at them like, yeah, once I get to this number or get to this stage in my blog, I'm going to do that thing. And that's going to help you stay motivated when it comes to blogging. The fourth thing you can do, reach out to other bloggers. If you have some blogging besties, it's good to say, hey, I'm not feeling motivated, y'all. I need some encouragement. Or going into different blogging Facebook groups and seeing what other people post. What are they working on? Maybe those are some things you should be working on to keep you motivated. So that's another thing you can do. Reach out to the blogging community and get some encouragement. And then the fifth thing you can do is figure out why you're stuck. Really look into what is holding you back. What are the things you detest about blogging, and start figuring out a process to offload that to someone else or to a tool or to anything so it does not keep you from doing the things you enjoy when it comes to blogging. So those are my 5 tips. I hope that they were helpful when it comes to feeling motivated with your blogs. I don't see any other questions here. So I think that's going to wrap up this month's series. I know Chris and I are doing some traveling for the holidays and taking a much needed break. So this will be our last video for 2021. But we are going to be back in January and excited to continue to share more videos with you. I will continue to do the blogging Q&A series in the new year as well. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to Blogging Money Life so that you don't miss a single video. And I will see y'all in the new year. So have a good holiday, everyone. And I will see y'all then. Goodbye.